watching this here channel. This is your friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you today from Robeson County, North Carolina, where we had some substantial rain last night, but it's bright and sunshiny today. Or how's that song go? It's a bright, sunshiny day. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, that's for you, Brother Kyle. Love you, man. Mean it. What I want to talk about today. Now, I'm going to talk about two things. I talked about it the other day. I'm going to bring it back up. But one is this so-called Bureau of Mis or Disinformation, i.e. from the Harry Potter theme, Ministry of Truth, i.e. communist involvement to suppress, deny, and remove our right to free speech. This line of horse feathers, boys and girls and boys of all ages, is a direct violation of the Bill of Rights. All because, well, I said all because, but a lot of it stemming from the fact that Elon Musk has now bought Twitter. And of course, we all know the original owners of Twitter were, pardon my language, hell-bent on suppressing conservative values and thoughts and speech. And to some extent, libertarian thoughts and speech. They didn't like you, they just banned you. Or if you were talking things that they didn't agree with, all of a sudden you're spreading misinformation. We can't allow that. And old Mark Zuckerberg, he's just as guilty of it there on his Facebook platform. The sad part is, for us conservatives, note I said conservatives, not Republicans. Because Republicans that say they're conservative, there's actually some dumbasses, pardon my language warning, bleep, 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 that are in favor of this horse mess. I don't know about y'all. I don't need the government telling me what I can and cannot say. Alright? Especially considering that they will not even protect my freedom to speak on my beliefs in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in public school. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. I'm not saying you have to be a believer in Jesus Christ. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. I've told you a dime a dozen times that I don't come on here to preach to people, nor tell them who or what to believe in. Wow, there's been a car wreck here.
Whoa.
We're headed to the doctor's appointment, me and Mrs. Old Soldier. And it looks like they've had a little bender fender up here. But anyway, like I was saying, folks, I can't go into a public school and give a lesson on God, Jesus Christ, the disciples, any of that. No, that's wholly and substantially offensive. But yet, we've already seen the hijacking in schools of them trying to teach this gender BS. Again, if you're 18 years or older, you're an adult. If you want to think that you're a woman and you're actually a man, go right ahead. I'm not going to acknowledge that, because how you feel and what you are two different things. Okay? Just like the whole pronouns bull crap. Because I don't feel like I'm a man today. I want to be called they, them. And if you don't call me by my pronouns, I'm dead. My feelings are going to be hurt. Well, so what? Your feelings just going to have to be hurt. Because if I can see a gargantuan Adam's apple in your throat, but you're saying you're a woman, I'll call you what you are. You know, just like Bruce Jenner to me will always be Bruce Jenner. So he went to a plastic surgeon and had some fake boobies put in and let his hair grow out, and he slapped makeup on his face. Man, I'm a product of the 80s. You know, hair metal bands used to do that crap, other than the boobies, but My point being is that all this is being allowed to be pushed in many schools across the nation, but I can't go in and speak about Christ to children. Okay, because they said, separation of church and state. All right. So, next thing, I go door to door just to invite people to talk to Christ. You can't do that. You're violating my rights. How? It's a conversation. All right. That moves me into the whole political thing, whereas on these social media platforms, the suppression of ideas that went against their liberal ideology. Right? So now, because Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, or bought Twitter, and has already stated it's to reestablish the right of free speech for all users on that platform, the federal government, who is using Twitter to ban their opposition, okay? I say the federal government, the Communist Party of America. Make no bones about it, folks. The Democrats of America are communist. Okay? Democrat/liberal equals communist in the USA Today. Period. .com. End of story. You can argue other points all you want. Go back and read The Naked Communist. You'll see what I'm talking about. But we've got some rhinos that claim to be conservative, but they're only conservative when it fits them. And they're on board with this horse mess. So, just because Elon Musk has bought Twitter, folks, it don't mean that it's the end of the fight against this with the communists in America that are trying to take over. There's some of you of the opinion that they've already done what they're going to do and they're fully in charge. Okay, it's still not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. Now, that brings me to the next point, which hits more important into home. We talked about Saturday. I want to bring it back up again because it is gaining traction in the news media. Finally, even the federal government, i.e. the puppet in chief, we all know Joe Biden's a sock puppet with Barack Obama's hand up his rump, has announced there's probably going to be some severe food shortages come fall. My son sent me a link today that there's over 120 Walmarts, I think here in the Southeast, it might have been nationwide, that have recalled, I'd have to pull it up, but a large amount of hamburger meat for fear of E. coli contamination. That's not to mention that I think the count's now up to 18 food processing plants across the nation that have burned down, been destroyed. Then there's the whole thing with the avian bird flu affecting chicken and poultry plants. And I'm getting ready to drive by a Mountain Air plant that's right here in Robeson County. And every time we come down this road to go to our doctor's appointment, always all these chicken trucks going in. There's reports now that certain poultry producing plants that they're destroying chickens for fear of spreading this bird flu. There's been reports of cattle ranches being told by the FDA to destroy several of their herd for fear of contamination. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it, folks. Some people say it's just a coinkydink. Okay. 1, okay, that's a tragedy. 2, that's a coincidence. 3, I don't have to be hit in the head with a rock to know that if I got hit in the head with a rock, it hurts. Okay. Like my other son a long time ago once asked me, he says, Mr. Lee, does it hurt to get shot? He calls me Mr. Lee. Love that boy. But he says, Mr. Lee, does it hurt to get shot? We were standing out in the pecan orchard. It'd been years ago. I had a pair of steel-toe work boots on. I said, come here, son. He walks over, and I cracked him in the shin. I didn't kick him hard, but I got his attention. I looked at him because, he grabbed his shin, fell on his butt. I said, did that hurt? He said, yeah. I said, there's your answer. Don't ever ask me that question again. And then he proceeded to say, I bet y'all can't hit me with a paintball gun. And we proceeded to light up his backside as he ran down the pecan orchard. It was funny. But on a serious note, again, I don't have to have a rock hit me in the head to know that getting hit in the head with a rock hurts. See, I view these reports of these food processing plants being destroyed and burned with grave suspicion. Now, is it a group of people doing it to actually create this food shortage? Is this something that covert government people are doing? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. If anybody lives down here, Mountain Air is hiring. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, folks, with that being said, we talked about it Saturday. And I pray for many of you that you already have, but if you haven't, get those dry goods put away. It may not be what you actually want to eat, but it will sustain you. God forbid what they said is coming comes. Because here's another problem we're going to run into. Apparently they're going to release 1 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve for I don't know how many days. No, that's the third subject, but I thought I'd talk about it too. The strategic reserve was developed after World War II to have enough oil reserves in the event, God forbid, we get into another total and complete war, so that our military would have the necessary oil and petroleum to fight with. And at the rate of 1 million barrels a day, it's not going to take long to deplete that reserve significantly. And so but the impact there is, once you've released what you say you're going to release, what happens next? The other part, that's because they're doing this, because the immediate impact we see right now is you've got independent truckers here in the South, here in the Southeast for sure. I can't speak for the rest of the country. That I was reading an article yesterday, I think it was in the Robertsonian, local truckers here, several of them that parking their trucks. They're losing money picking up loads because of the price of diesel fuel. They can no longer afford to operate and make a profit. What do you think about that? So your bigger companies can stay in business for an extent, but what's going to happen when the price of diesel fuel is completely passed down to us, the consumer? That's the other thing. This whole Build Back Better has caused us to go bankrupt, bust, and blown out. Anyway, folks, I have bored y'all enough on this fine Monday morning. Just keep your eyes open, ear to the ground, keep your head on a swivel. Stay safe and stay vigilant. Stay armed, my friends. Stay armed. Who knows what's coming down the pike next? I couldn't tell you. But if you can, get out there and get the things you need stocked up. And just pray and hope that things get better. That's the best advice I can give y'all right now. So until then, I'll try to get a video out tomorrow, and I think we'll do one on over-the-counter medications and things like that you might want to just kind of stock up and put away. So until then, my friends, we'll talk to y'all later. It's your friend, the neighborhood old soldier. Anyway, if you get on Brother Kyle, we'll talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. Episode out.